Yeah, it didn't start smoothly. There's some fun stories about things that we did and got wrong, but all part of the fun, right? It's all part of the journey. How they're getting on, how they're feeling, what's their headspace like, how are they performing in work and out of work, and families, relationships, to ensure that they are performing at their peak. And I think it's the agencies that haven't started to put those things in place that have got an uphill to climb now.
So, hello everyone, and welcome to the After Hours Property Podcast. We have Lee here with us, and Lee is a director at David Lee. It's actually, you own one of the largest independent estate agents in East Herts and West Essex. Is that right?
Yeah, East Herts and West Essex.
That's
so
amazing.
Yeah, we're right on the where we are.
Amazing. So Lee's a director at this company, and he's got some huge expansion plans across the UK. So it's an absolute honour to have you on, and thank you for coming.
Thanks very much. Thank you. Thanks for
so, Lee, obviously, you've been in this business for a while now, and it's I'd say that it's probably fairly successful.
Yeah, we've done some good things. We've been around for a long time, which goes, stands the test of time. So we'll be 16 years this September. So
that's insane. Amazing. So when people meet you, when you're sort of on social media, when you're in the market, people obviously know you for who you are now. Talk to us what you were like in school.
A rascal, to be honest. If I'm honest, I think if you asked anybody, I enjoyed school. School was fun because it was, lots of people around, friends and close by. But academic, I certainly wasn't.
Really?
I think capable, but not necessarily focused enough to produce great academic results. I've probably I've done more learning since I left school than I certainly did at school. But enjoyed school. Used to get up to sort of tricks and tales and in and out of trouble. Used to be selling stuff at school. We used to sell sort of chew bars and things. Earn a bit of money and
that's it. You got to be careful where you say you sell stuff there in school, but no, absolutely. We had a very brief chat, and I used to sell a lot of stuff like sweets in school as well, and it's amazing. I made a small fortune from it, and I don't know about you, but I feel that it definitely gave me a bit of an inkling into what it was like, I guess, running some sort of business. I learned very basic principles of business, even though at the time I didn't think so at all. You just sort of coming in, you're selling a load of sweets, and you're making a load of money. But we both said that you need to try and sell all your sweets before you get into class, and you be sort of walking around with jangling pound coins in your pockets, which was something that I really enjoyed. But do you feel like this helped you in your career at all, or was it?
I think it kind of gave me an ability to have a conversation and a sale. Always, so pretty stayed sort of tube bars, but we used to do one for a certain price, two for a certain price, and there was a deal to be had, and I had to peddle it. It wasn't people weren't necessarily coming to me to get rid of them. So in a funny way, yes, it did teach you to have confidence and to go forward and to sell something, be a bit entrepreneurial. I think it was lots of people do it. I think everybody has been at school and there's that one kid that sold something. Everybody seems to have that person, but in my year at my school, that was me.
I think just what you said there, it's for me, I had to go out and find it. So you're going around to different school years, you're going into different groups, which when you're at school, it can be a little bit daunting. But as soon as you get a good client base, then they're going to be coming back to you, and they know that you're selling the Chewy bars or Lucasades or whatever it is. But amazing. So where did you go from there? Did you stay on at school, or did you?
So I stayed through sixth form at school, but during my second year of sixth form, I was already working in agency at a local independent in the town where I lived.
Cool.
Working a couple of days after school and then an all day on a Saturday. And my job was literally stuffing envelopes. That was what I used to turn up after school in anything that I came literally from the bus. Yeah. And yeah, I'd sit in the back room stuffing envelopes as we did back in what is now considered the old days, I suppose. Yeah. So yeah, I was an envelope stuffer for a year. With ambition to go into it. I enjoyed seeing the guys going in and out. I got taken out on a few appointments, and
sure.
Generally, as agents, they're quite fun people. They're outgoing and used to make you laugh, and you thought, actually, this could be for me. This really could work.
Yeah.
And I was pushing my boss at the time to say, look, I'm coming to the end of my sixth form. I would like to do something. I'd love to stay here and do something with you guys. But he was a bit reluctant to commit, and he was sort of saying, yes, I'll do something. Yes, I'll do something, but never really issued me a contract. And it caused me a bit of concern. So an agency sort of 2 doors down, the guy there, again, big, larger than life type of personalities, said, look, I know who you are, I've seen what you've done, I'll get you a job. And I was like, okay, fine. And then I chased him consistently for about 8 weeks to just organise me an interview. And I don't think he was ever trying. I just don't ever think it was particularly top of his mind to try and phone the area director to get me in front of him. But he did eventually. And yeah, I joined William H. Brown. So I didn't actually join the local that I was working for at the time. I joined William H. Brown as my school leavers job. So
how old would you have been then?
17.
17. Wow. So I mean, you could call yourself an industry expert, I guess now.
Been doing it long enough. Been about for a while.
Yeah. And have you seen things? Have they? I mean, obviously the answer is, I'm sure, yes. But how have things changed for the better, for the worse?
Yeah, I certainly think they're changing for the better. I think we went through quite a period where change was required, and it simply wasn't coming quick enough. And actually, when you look at our businesses and how we operate in a very traditional manner, the business hasn't changed. Our office 3 or 4 years ago, it could have been the same office in 1972. You know, when we first hit the high streets. That element of our business hadn't changed, and that started to really bother me and David. And we were thinking that actually every other business has developed and evolved over that time. And yes, Rightmove had come out and we had started to put properties online. Other than that, there wasn't great differences other than digital cameras and colour printing that had really been great waves within a state agency. And we could just feel that it was changing and something was coming, and we wanted to try our best to get ahead of that and try and map out the future for ourselves and our business.
And I'm really excited to talk about that in a bit more detail a bit later on. So where did it go from William H. Brown?
Straight into David Lee. So I worked there for just about 2.5 years. I met David at William H. Brown, and we worked really well. It was a flagship office for the company. We did huge levels of business, and really enjoyed our time there. Had some great people that were above us, a really good manager that had been there sort of 30 odd years, and we used to joke he'd been in every house twice in Hollywood. There was no house this chap. So yeah, he was a great person to learn from. We sort of went about cutting our teeth there. We then left William H. Brown with a bit of not a push, but a bit of positive encouragement from our secretary at the time, because she could see that we were trying to move and do things. And yet there was an assistant manager who had been there probably 15 years before us, and our branch manager had been there nearly 30 years. So we couldn't see an upward path of progression, and in that traditional agency model, you were limited as to what you could earn unless you'd moved to the next stage. So our secretary had said to us, "You boys should go do something on your own." And then it just sparked. Maybe we should, and so the journey started. Myself and David both lived in an area that we didn't work. So we worked in a town called Hoddesdon, but we both lived in Bishop Stortford, and we started our search in our local area for premises and where we might go. Bishop Stortford at the time was very competitive, and the high street rents were very expensive. But Stansted, the village outside, was a buoyant, up and coming village that had what we saw as very sleepy agents in it, and we felt that our opportunity was there. There was a couple of units available, and we took one of them, and opened our business in 2004, September 2004, and
wow.
I was 20, so that
20 years old.
Yeah,
that's to be in an industry straight out of school for 2.5 years, and then decide, do you know what, I want to go start something myself. That takes it takes some balls.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there was that. I think it was ballsy as a move. But I think we kind of justified it to ourselves at the time as we didn't have lots of exes. You know, if you go and try and make that move when you're 40 and you've got either school fees to pay, you've got cars on lease, you've got mortgages and family to support, and I feel that at that point the risk is far greater. And that's why going and start a traditional bricks and mortar high street agency at 40 with all those expenses, I see as a far riskier move than when I did it at 20 and I was still living at home with my parents. So actually my cost base was so low. We were able to put the time. We had masses of energy. Myself and David worked 7 days a week for the first 18 months before we took on an employee. So we were completely committed to our success and trying to get things up and running. And it didn't start smoothly. There's some fun stories about things that we did and got wrong, but
it's inevitable, isn't it?
It's all part of the fun, right? It's all part of the journey.
Yeah, amazing. So is there anything that you've learned? I mean, obviously, you've had this business for 15 years. I'm sure that you've learned a hell of a lot. Is there anything that sort of stands out to you from when you very started that you've learned along the way?
Well, probably not really a business learning, but quite a funny learning that we had on our open day. Our very opening day, the Saturday that we started to open in 2004. The night before, I'd paid my sister and a couple of her friends to go out and put leaflets out for us, our now open leaflets, lovely A5 glossy leaflets. They put them through doors of the village, but they decided that actually, because they had so many leaflets that we printed, they would put them under car window, under window wipers on cars, on car windscreens.
Right.
Not a bad idea, but if people would see it, people would pick it up. Little did we know, it rained.
Oh no!
When we opened, so from the minute we opened our door on the Saturday, the phone was ringing, which we thought was fantastic.
Amazing.
For people complaining that they had a sticker that we'd put on their window because the laminate on the leaflet had literally melted in the rain, and they couldn't get these leaflets off their window. So David spent the first Saturday, I was in the office hosting guests that we'd invited and people, and David was out on the streets with an ice scraper and some Windoline, scraping off wherever I sent him and wherever he could find one of these leaflets that were stuck to the window of someone's car. So not the smoothest opening day. I've got to be
What a way to start.
That's
amazing.
I suppose, but not necessarily in the way that we had first intended.
So you must have obviously gone through the recession. I mean, you 4 years into it at that point? So we were, so we really felt the recession at 2009, probably, by the time we really felt it in the business. And luckily for us, we had started our lettings business in 2007. So we started a lettings business in 2007, and that was able to grow quite rapidly. And we say that now, that the lettings portfolio carried us through the downtime that we experienced in 2009. But almost immediately by 2010, we had returned and exceeded our record year that we had put down 2 years earlier. So amazing.
Business was able to rebound quite quickly. With the team that we had, we were quite agile and able to make quick changes and savings, and then return as soon as there was sort of green shoots available and deals to be done.
Sure. So that's obviously, you've seen something there, and I don't know, you probably wouldn't have known that there was a recession coming in, but you pivoted into the lettings agency that, like you say, it took you through, which is amazing. How else have you pivoted or adapted your business over the past 15 years?
So we've always tried to be at the forefront of changes and new services available. Even from the start, when we opened our business, we were one of the first agencies on Rightmove in the area. We then had trialled 360 virtual tours quite early in 2005, 2006, and had bought the system to be able to do that. We were doing walkthrough video tours in 2010, and we'd convinced the local videographer to buy a full body kit that had this hovering camera on the front of it, and he was knocking out videos for us. So we've always tried to press from a marketing side of things to try and do things differently and
Sure.
offer a clear point of difference in our market. I think one of the good changes that we made about 3 years ago was really leaning into our land and new homes department, and we became members of the National Land and New Homes Network at that point, and they've really helped us sort of develop our business and work with local developers and sell out developments and land, and really add a third string to our bow. So we really are a three-dimensional business, and as strong in our sales as we are in our lettings and now land and new homes. So that was a key point to provide stability, even through the downtime. So over lockdown, the two busiest areas of our business were lettings, because people still wanted to move, and were able to move, and land and new homes. That just continued to thrive through the lockdown period when the sales went to zero. So it's good to have those different pillars of our agency, and I would highly recommend that people are having the ability to look at all three pillars in their business. Yeah.
And I guess so part of that is having that sort of, I guess, strong network around you as well, because it seems that you had that opportunity because I guess you had maybe a contact there, or of an opportunity there. Has that been important to you over the last 15 years?
Yeah, I think myself and David have taken a lot of time to build a network within the industry. We've been long-term supporters of a lot of the training and education companies within the industry, and because of that, you do tend to surround yourself with people that are quite like-minded and want to progress and want to develop. We've spent a lot of time with Peter Knight's Property Academy, and I've got a great network of friends across the agency and across the country. From their events and their trainings. So we've constantly focused on developing ourselves, and I think that's where a lot of our networking has been happening.
Sure. And so you and your business partner, from the start, I can imagine that you're both just absolutely just gunning for it on the phones, and probably for quite some time. And I guess as you progress the business, maybe you become a bit more smarter with how you spend each of your time. How has that developed through the growth of the business, and I guess utilizing both of your skills to create the best outcome?
So I think our roles have defined over time, and don't get me wrong, we still get sucked back into the day to day, and could be making a viewing 1 minute and booking a valuation the next. So there's no ivory tower in our office. You can't get away from it, and I think it's just bashed into us from a young age. If a phone is ringing and someone hasn't, you'll just pick it up, and so you can end up talking to anybody within our business just by a phone call in. So we're still very much involved in our business. But in terms of roles and responsibilities now, David is focusing on the running of the business, both that sales and lettings department, and I'm focusing on the growth and the development of the business through our associate program and the expansion plans that we've got ahead of us. And then together we work on the land and new homes bits, because that tends to be sort of deep network stuff that we work on, and people like to deal with us for those relationships and those.
Yeah. So you just touched on what you're going to be doing, and this is something that I'm actually really excited about myself to see, how that all progresses for you. But do you want to talk about, I guess, the last 18 months of your business, how they've been important to you, and how you're sort of looking to use that to grow your company as well?
Yeah, so for the past sort of 18 months or 2 years, myself and David, as I said earlier, had this sort of itching feeling that it needed to change. We needed to look at things differently. And so we started to look at the various other models available in agency. And there's been a lot of press around some of the American models and some of the Australian ways of working. And with for a long time, UK estate agency just hasn't worked in that way, and more people are starting to explore it now. So we really did a lot of our own research to find out what the good and bad things are within those models, and have worked hard to create a what we feel is a very supportive self-employed system, and a platform for agents to work with us and develop and grow an area. And we're looking right across the UK to do this now.
That's amazing. That's some growth plans. How are you? I guess you've got to stay really. Every market, I can imagine, is a little bit different with the same principle of the agency that you've already brought on yourselves. How are you looking to sort of roll that out? How do you keep consistent with them sort of plans in other areas?
Yeah, so I think the consistency comes from the quality of the people. So we're very focused around the type of people that we want to engage with and bring on as associates.
Sure.
We're really looking for people that have had a long career of experience in agency. We're not looking to train people from a grassroots level to become estate agents. We're looking for successful estate agents that are feeling that their potential is being currently limited and their time is being sapped. So we're looking to work with established agents that have got skill and track history to be able to do the job, and then we're looking to power them up, basically to enable them to work as an agent, cover lettings, enable them to offer land and new homes with a fully supported system and business behind them.
Sure.
We're looking for real local experts. So we are not dropping people into locations. We're looking for people that are already in location. We're giving them the tools and our systems and the partners in which we work with to enable them to go and deliver a great service to their clients and customers in that area.
Yeah. I mean, nobody knows their area like somebody who's lived there for, however many years. And I think that does show a lot when you have agents that know the area that well. They know all the street names, they know people, all the developers, whatever it may be. And it's really interesting to see that model develop in the UK as well. Is there much change to how you're looking to do it specifically as opposed to some of the American or Australian models?
So I think it's all around support. So they are great systems, and they're great systems for certain people. However, we feel to be very successful in agency, you need to have support behind you. So our system is, for estate agents, for instance, we will help in terms of creating leads and lead generation, but we will also help with longer term prospecting and nurturing a database and sales progression. So we will handle sales progression, and this is where some of the things fall down. The agent, the single standalone agent, is expected to do everything from end to end, and actually throughout that whole process, it requires completely different skill sets to be a consistent telephone prospecting person, to being an organized person that sends out letters, to being a great person that sits on the sofa and is really good at pitching and presenting, to someone that's got patience and tenacity to go through a sales progression. We're talking about like 4 or 5 different people here, and so that single person, I don't necessarily think completely exists, or certainly doesn't enjoy doing all parts of that role. So an ethos that we've had in our business is to always try and put people in their best seat and get them doing the job that they really love, and the bits that they don't like, we will find somebody else to do those. So we're leaning into people's strengths all the time. And that's where we feel the associates will be able to thrive with us, because we've taken away a lot of the elements of the business that either bog them down and don't allow them to be able to move on to the next client and help the next client quickly enough. So that's where we think our edge is in the service that we're offering. The support program around actually their business and how we're going to develop them is from what I've seen so far, second to none. So there's a detailed sort of mentorship that will go on with the associates, and accountability partnerships, because the reality is they are self-employed, running their own business. There are no KPIs for these people. They will run their own business and meet their own goals, but we will provide some accountability to help them along and make sure that they're maximising the tools and the systems that we've put in place to make their life easier. We've also engaged with a high-performance coach who trains professional athletes that will work with our associates on a regular basis to focus on everything else. So we will help with the work and the nuts and bolts of agency and the systems, but the performance coach will work on how they're getting on, how they're feeling, what's their headspace like, how are they performing in work and out of work, and families, relationships, and all of that to ensure that they are performing at their peak. And we feel that combined, it's a real structure of support. We've also got what we call our associate peer group meetings, which will be all of the associates coming together on a probably a bi-monthly basis to work on what's good in the business, what's working for you, exchanging ideas, because agents are social creatures, and we love that interaction and to be able to sound off on each other. You've got the peer group meetings, which will allow us to continually develop our platform. Our business is not done. Our business will never be done, and we're constantly looking for ways to improve it. And those meetings will be crucial to making sure that we're putting the right things in front of our partners to be able to go out and deliver.
It sounds to me that I think that's such a great opportunity for any agent, and there's so many different layers to it. You obviously got from the top end, you got, you're good at what you do in your specific skill set. We will help in any other way, which is absolutely key. You might have an agent who is really good at what they do, but they don't know the business side, which is true for a lot of agents. Perhaps they've been working for a corporate agency or even an independent, and they've just had one job for their career there. They need to know how to do the business side of things and maybe the marketing. And then you go to the D layer, which I think is absolutely brilliant, which is where you have the high performance coach. And I don't know anyone else that's doing that. It might be, but I think that as a additional feature is, for me, if I was an agent and I was looking to go somewhere, that would be the changing point to me. You're focusing on the actual person, because you can't improve or get better unless you get better yourself, if that makes sense. And I feel like to have that as well as that support group around you, that's so powerful.
And agents that are developed and trained, and I said that we don't do grassroots training, but we are going to constantly look at performance training, and that for me is so much more exciting to get somebody that's good better. That's brilliant for me, and that's really exciting. And we've got some great people around us to be able to do that with. One of our business partners and is helping us with this associate program is Russell Jarvis, who's got some fantastic experience in the industry, managing director of the Spicer Heart Group for the past 30 odd years, and has got some great skills, and will be one of our mentors that will help the associates develop their businesses and remain on target to reach their goals, because the financial opportunities are fantastic. And if once that is right, these people will be earning great income and have been trained and developed to be just excellent market leading agents, and I really hope we'll set the tone across the industry for what's.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. There's definitely been a lot of changes being made to the industry recently. And this just seems like the right way to go. It's an individual that can create their own business, but have the support of another business, and have all these amazing people. I mean, having somebody mentor you that's been the MD of one of the largest independent agencies in the UK, that's absolutely insane for any business owner. I can imagine that if you were back to your 21-year-old self, you'd be like absolutely jumping at the bits to have that.
You would, and yeah, even in our career, to have somebody like that help you steer your ship and take you in the right direction. The advice and the bits that we're being able to plug in, and the support of the platform is brilliant.
Really good. So I noticed that you work with Gazelle, don't you?
We do, yeah.
So they're obviously looking to change a lot as well. And from what I've spoken to you about already, you've used these resources available that, like you said you was the first one to use Rightmove. Mm-hmm. And, Gazelle are also making a big shift in the market as well. Yeah. Do you think it's important to use these, I guess, third-party companies to improve your own service?
Yeah, we've always used great partners. So we've always worked very closely with our CRM. So we've always worked closely with the guys at Repit to create the system that works best for us.
Sure.
We were early adopters of the life cycle system from Mark Burgess, and had a lot of we're thankful enough to have a lot of involvement that even before it was released to help steer what's needed out of the system from an agency point of view.
Sure.
And same with Gazelle. I can absolutely see what the guys are doing there, and where they want to take it, and we're totally on board for that. If we can drive more transparency into the transaction, to a point where both parties are willing to commit and to sign earlier in the process that they're going to do that, it's going to bring down our fall through rates massively, and increase the trust amongst everybody, I think. So we're completely open to utilising these third parties, and we don't need to go and recreate the wheel. There are great things being done out there, and we just need to implement the right things to provide the best platform for my business and our associate partners.
Yeah, and I mean that's it. At the end of the day, you're doing all this so that people that are actually moving home can have a better experience. And if you're dealing with somebody who's had mentorship by one of the the best agents in the UK, and you've also got a high performance coach, naturally the client that they're helping is going to have a much better experience. And using stuff like Gazelle, I mean it gives people the peace of mind that their move will be going ahead. There's no reason that things should take so long, and it just adds that security. And I've
process up and give security. That it's just a winning combination.
Yeah. So I mean, it sounds like you use a lot of tech. Do you think where do you think tech stands in agency in the next few years?
I think it's all due for, again, a bit like the agency world. I think the tech side is due for a massive shake-up. I think CRM is going to look vastly different in 3 years' time.
Sure.
And for us, it's about trying to knit the best that's available together, so that you don't get dashboard fatigue from logging into this system, that system to do your job. I think that is due for a massive shake-up. And there'll be a couple of winners that will come out of it. I don't know quite where to hang my hat entirely yet, but I think that's going to be a really interesting space to watch. And will help agents fundamentally. At the end of it, it will help agents provide a better service and to make the whole process that bit slicker.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen Mark Burgess's what do you call it, life cycle. Life cycle,
yeah.
I think I watched the video and it did look really, really good. It looked just so advanced. And for agencies. So back to David Lee, how are you making positive impacts on the agency world? What sort of things are you guys doing?
So I think with how we've developed the company now and what we're now able to offer, our impact in the world is showing the new way of doing things.
Sure.
The British way of doing things, not the Australian.
Without cups of tea.
this is sort of the British version, and trying to take the best that's out there and to create a package that really, really works.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to give fantastic agents huge earning opportunities, but also balance opportunities between life and work, and autonomy over their time, but with a better support network than is even available now in a lot of the biggest companies. With the mentorship and the performance coaching that we're going to provide, we are going to be able to support these high performing agents to consistently deliver and create businesses and lives for themselves. And if that works, then I'll be all right. Because if we get that bit right, then our business will be fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's I'm excited to see where this goes, even over the next 12 months. How do you think the market's gonna? I mean, with this new way of working, how do you think that's going to affect the market in the next 12 months?
I think the agents that had already started to adapt and put good systems in place probably felt that if it wasn't for the fact that we couldn't visit a home or do a viewing, their businesses wouldn't have been affected over that period. And that's really how we felt. We literally, we picked up, we moved home, and our business wouldn't have missed a beat if we were still able to do viewings and valuations. Sure. Where we were located and how our team was dispersed didn't actually have an effect on our performance. So I think agencies that have already started to make this move will have felt exactly the same. And I think it's the agencies that haven't started to put those things in place that have got an uphill to climb now to be ready. I think in terms of market where it sits at the moment, it's very, very busy out there. There's lots going on. It seems to be upper middle market for me at the moment. That is the busy area of it. And I think we're not out of the woods yet. I think October, November this year could start to get a bit sticky as we move in towards Christmas, as furlough ends and people are supposed to go back to their businesses, whether they do or not. And I think so. When we're certainly not out of the woods yet in terms of the market. But I think the agents that have already started to make this move and can be agile will be there at the end. Yeah,
I agree. So what would you say to any agent that's maybe heard of what you do or wants to get involved in some way? What would you say to them?
Well, we're really interested to speak to anybody that's keen on looking at this model. We're speaking to lots of people now on a weekly basis, up and down the country, from Portsmouth to our newest associates coming on in Walsall on the 1st of July, which is great. We're talking to lots of people right now. We're doing discovery calls, so we can run through what we're offering, what the toolkit looks like, how the support package works, and how the income splits work. And we're happy to do that with anybody if they want to come and visit the office. We've got a nice big space here. We can socially distant presentations, but we're doing a lot of it over Zoom as well.
Sure.
But there are more options in the market right now, and I think that's become abundantly clear to agents that have been able to stand back and have a look. Because it might not be the same when you go back to the office right now, and I think you need to consider your options. But to speak to anybody that was interested.
Amazing. Well, yeah, I mean, as I said, if I was an agent and I perhaps was furloughed, I'd definitely have my eye on something, and having that support it's almost as if you're not making such a huge jump. When you started and you were young, it must have been a huge jump because you're just going into sort of the unknown. But with this, you've got yourself to work with and all these other great people. So it's such a great support network.
Yeah, we're trying to de-risk that jump. To be able to go and do a cold start bricks and mortar business right now. I think you'd struggle to do it with less than 150 grand to make sure that you are comfortable. But to do this, you need to be able to cover your outgoings personally for sort of four to 5 months before you really start to see things coming through. So and we have real plans in place in order to launch people into their market and to help provide them leads as quickly as possible to get them up and running. One of the good things about our system is that the lettings business can come along far quicker for you. So bookkeeping, from the letting side of your operation can start to flow far quicker as the sales start to work their way through your process. So yeah, having both options available to you from the start can be really helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Lee, I'm actually genuinely really excited to see where this goes, you know, how far it expands, and, you know, the growth across the country as well, because you've got such a dominance in your market, and I know that that will only expand throughout the rest of the UK as well. So hopefully we can get you on perhaps later on in the what are we in June now, later on in the year, maybe early next year, and we can get an update.
Yeah, we'd love to come back on.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure. Great to hear more about you and your plans going forward. Anyone looking to get in touch with Lee, we'll leave some connection details, and I'm sure they'll be more than happy to chat to you and go through the discovery call if needs be. But it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much, Lee.
Brilliant. Thanks, Johnny.